When George and I went to college together in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, we made the drunken decision one night to start playing Dungeons & Dragons, and we've never looked back.
That's right. I became the game master for Nick and a bunch of our other actor-comedian friends, telling crazy and hilarious stories together. So now we're gonna bring some new ones to you.
George builds the world and the framework for a wild story, and I, along with our ever-rotating cast, adventure through it, rolling dice to see if our actions gloriously succeed or fail miserably on a quest to tell the tallest tale possible.
We'll be using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rules for the most part, with a few minor tweaks. For example, when we roll a 20 on a 20-sided die, that's an automatic success, and when you roll a 1, that's a botch or an automatic failure, which I'll roll severity for on a 100-sided die. Why? Because when we're at the table, I am God.
These little sagas do follow a linear plot, so if you want to know fully what's going on, we recommend starting at the top and following along. So without further ado, welcome to Hero Club. We had just finished laying out our plans to ambush those schnitzel-munching fascists at the junkyard and were settling in to take a closer look at that rat bastard's puzzle box. Little did we know, we were about to get an unexpected guest that would change everything.
Hero Club presents It Never Sleeps, a Hank Blackstone mystery. Chapter 4, The Back Palm. It's an especially cold night in New York City as Hank and Charlie pore over some antique books, the puzzle box from the sewer on a table between them. The fireplace crackles in the background as an old vinyl spins in the gramophone. A concentrated Charlie looks up as a frustrated Hank throws down papers in frustration.
What is this thing?
Hank and Charlie have so far refrained from altering the positions of the many gears, buttons, and switches after watching Sidecar Soup's face melt off his body following his attempt. But they have gleaned that this puzzle box appears to be made out of fairly new material, meaning that this box isn't ancient like some of the other artifacts that our two heroes have come across.
Well, the stakes seem to be really high with this thing. If we touch it in the wrong way, we could wind up getting the old face melted off.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad way to go. Let's see if I can take a closer look without messing with anything.
Be careful.
Hank's gonna roll an investigation check on the box. 29.
Hank, as you pick up this box, get it into some better light, you can actually see there's the nozzle that melted Sidecar's face off is exposed. It seems to have been under some kind of panel, so you assume that moving the gears or pressing the buttons or moving the switches will open up parts of the box. In addition to that, you can see a wide opening in the box where maybe somebody could have pulled a tiara out of the box. So perhaps there are some traps in this as well as some treasures.
Why did the Rat King want this so badly?
Well, looking at this thing and looking at that weird rat tiara that he was wearing, I think this box gave him the powers over those rodents. I think without the puzzle box, he's just some fat guy eating trash in a dump.
There's a knock at the door.
You expecting anybody?
I mean, I don't really know anybody except for you and Tickles, and with Tickles, he's more of an acquaintance.
That's true. I don't know what I was thinking.
Quick, can we put some makeup on?
Yeah, let's do that. 1 second. Hank quickly puts human makeup on Charlie. 31.
Oh my god, it's incredible. What does he look like?
Give me the Orson Welles today. I want to look smart.
Sure. I'll go Orson Welles adjacent. I don't want a situation like last time where people are thinking you're Orson Welles. Hank does a very good job of doing makeup on Charlie's face that looks like a person that someone else would say, hey, you look kind of like Orson Welles too.
The Orson Welles features poke through, but not so much that anybody would actually mistake him for the celebrity.
Wow, I look like a distant cousin of Orson Welles. Thanks, Hank.
You guys are getting pretty good at this, so that only takes about 1 or 2 minutes.
Hank throws his coat on, straightens his jacket, and runs to the door. Sorry for the delay.
The door swings open, and before you stands a figure standing out on the sidewalk, wearing a trench coat and a big wide-brimmed hat. The figure pushes into the room past you and immediately sheds the hat.
In pushes Bella Vaughn, a 20-something cabaret singer and pianist. She's wearing a trench coat that's tied around her waist, which she takes off and hangs on a hook in the door. And underneath it, she has a pencil dress. It's not new, but it's well kept. I need help. I'm looking for Hank Blackstone.
Well, good evening, miss. Hank takes off his hat. How can I help you? I'm Hank Blackstone.
And I'm his associate, Charlie Wells. I know. I'm just gonna go with it.
Wow, you're a big fella. You look like one of those movie stars.
Well, I eat my broccoli, and I get that all the time, but I'm no movie star. I'm just regular old associate Charlie Wells.
Well, maybe between you and the private eye here, you can help me with my problem. I'm in a real bad way. Marblemouth has got his foot on my neck. Can you help me?
Why don't you just come in and have a seat? We'll talk it out.
Hank pushes the door closed. You move further into the room and eventually you take a seat by the hearth. Everybody sitting in cozy armchairs. Hank pours everybody some whiskey, and Charlie closes the blinds.
It's not too good of a vintage, but it's the best we can do. We're a modest business here, ma'am.
So, are you a singer, perchance?
I am. I sing at, wherever I can. Right now, Marblemouth has me working at his cabarets. I didn't mean to bust in here like that, just at the end of my rope.
Maybe we could help you a little bit more if you told us a little more about yourself. How did you get into this predicament with Marblemouth?
Marblemouth said that he could introduce me to some producers who could, really put me on the map. And instead, he's basically put me in a cage.
That's horrible. I mean, Marblemouth's a scary fellow, but if there's anything we can do to help...
Well, he's had me around his place a couple times, and there's this safe, yeah? Maybe there's some papers in there that can help put him away. Maybe there's some cash.
Listen, I'd love to see Marblemouth behind bars just as much as the next guy, but that sounds kind of like a suicide mission. He's the biggest mob boss in New York.
Well, I heard him talking, and I think the place is going to be empty tonight. We might have a chance to get in there. He said there was a big job, and he wanted to oversee it personally.
Well, we can call our friend on the inside, see if there actually is a job happening tonight. Have you met Dick McCoy on the inside?
Why would she ever have met Dick McCoy on the inside?
I don't know. I don't get out much. I don't know who knows each other. Come on.
Hank walks over, grabs the phone, and dials Dick's precinct.
The phone rings for a second.
Dick McCoy, what can I do for you?
Dick McCoy, our man on the inside.
What? Hank? Mr. Blackstone? Oh, boy! Hey, hey. It's been a while since I've... Yeah, shut up. I know I'm supposed to... Oh, man, it's been so boring here. I gotta tell you, I've written 14 reports just on traffic alone today. I mean, how could that be any more...
Yeah, we're good, Dick. Shut up. Listen, we've got a lady here who says that she can help us put Marblemouth away for good. She says his whole compound's gonna be abandoned tonight. Do you have any intel on that? Any word on the street?
Oh, man. I mean, Hank, if I had known about this before, I could have done a little looking into it, but I mean, as I said before, I have been writing traffic reports all day, and I mean, you know what? Can you give me 20 minutes?
Sure.
Okay, I'll call you back. So could you give me your number now?
Just call the operator and ask for Dante's Inferno. It's a magic shop. We've talked about this.
Okay. Okay. All right, bye.
Hangs up the phone.
He's gonna call us back.
What about Tickles? You think he would know anything? I mean, he's more on the street than Dick is.
You know what? That's a great call. Hank walks out the front door, opens it up, and just yells, Hey! Hey, Tickles! Howdy doody. Tickles, get over here!
You hear a shuffling in the distance. Eventually, into a streetlight emerges a very, very dirty man. He hops up onto the sidewalk, gets to your door, the stink kind of hits you in the face, and he says, Tickles, your man across the street, what can I do for you?
That's Tickles. He's different than Dick in the sense that he's our man across the street, not our man on the inside. Probably less helpful, but maybe in this situation we can get something from him.
For private eyes, you guys sure have some interesting friends.
All part of the job. Hey, Tickles, what's the word on Marblemouth's whereabouts tonight?
Tickles takes a big, long swig from a whiskey bottle, thinks for a second, and then says, Well, I heard something about a big party tonight that a bunch of families are getting together for. By families, I do mean the mob. So, maybe he's down there doing something that I don't know nothing about.
That's actually really helpful, Tickles. Do you know where that is?
Not a clue.
Great. You can go.
All right, fellas, y'all have a great night. And he turns around and kind of hop skips off the curb. Just then, there is a ring from the phone.
Charlie, will you grab that?
Yeah, sure. Dante's Inferno.
Hey, guys. Okay. So I did hear something about something. So apparently there's this huge party, and it's all the families of the mob.
Too late, Dick. We already know. Charlie hangs up the phone.
You just saying the same stuff we already knew?
He's just saying the same stuff we already knew. I am so sorry, miss.
Well, at least your network works fast.
It's a little unorthodox, but that's how we operate.
Oddly enough, all of the men you just saw are somehow my best friends.
Well, Miss Vaughn, it looks like your story checks out.
Does that mean you'll be able to help me?
Let me have one word with my associate, just for one moment. Please excuse us one more time.
Bella gives you a kind of curt nod and walks over to the other side of the room and starts just sort of peering at some of the books on the shelf.
Well, what do you think, Chuck? I mean, we're kind of in a good spot with Marblemouth right now. I mean, he owes us.
This lady needs help. I'd rather help her out than be buds with the mafia.
You're right. I just don't want any trouble from the mob.
Hey, if what she says is true, we won't have any.
Miss Vaughn, we'll take the job.
Oh, thank you so much. And if there is cash in the safe, I'll split it with you.
That sounds good to us. But as far as Marblemouth is concerned, and anyone else you may be talking to, we did not help you.
I'm actually surprised y'all were so reluctant to help after what he did to you.
What do you mean?
Well, I'd heard he tried to have y'all killed.
Charlie and Hank share a confused look. Well, I mean, who doesn't want us dead, right?
What's the word on the street?
Well, I was playing piano down at Marblemouth's club while he was having a meeting, and the phone rang and I overheard that he had a hit out on you. He did send you to a dock with a couple of his goons, didn't he?
Oh, so that was you performing when we were meeting with him? Wow, you got an angelic voice.
Why, thank you.
It's like Ella Fitzgerald meets Billie Holiday with a little hint of Lena Horne. You're wonderful.
You were talking about the fact that Marblemouth was trying to kill us?
Well, yeah, that's why I came to you. I thought it would be in all of our best interest to get him off the streets. After you all left, he told the man on the phone to send everything they had at you.
Look, I think you're right. I think it is in our best interest to get him off the street. No matter what favors he owes us, I don't want to wind up under his thumb either.
Trust me, it's not a good place to be.
Let's do it, Chuck. You ready to go?
Sure thing, Hank. Hey, it might be pretty hairy over there. Do you think maybe we should bring the cards?
I don't know, Chuck. I don't want to risk it.
I mean, neither do I. But we should bring something.
Both Hank and Charlie kind of stare oddly at this very ornate safe in the corner of the room with lots of books stacked on top of it. As they look at it, goosebumps raise on Hank's arm, and Charlie feels a shiver goes through his whole body.
Oh, the Jack of Spades. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't bring it.
I don't know, Chuck. The deck is our nuclear option. I want to go in there, quiet, not make too many ripples, and get out. No offense, Chuck, but you're not the sneakiest of guys. Why don't we take the Scarf of Obscurity?
You mean the one we stole from Count Vanderhorn?
The very same. Hank walks over to one of the bookshelves, brings the rolling ladder over, and climbs up to a stone bust of Julius Caesar with a midnight blue scarf wrapped around its neck, and takes it off. Here you go, pal.
Charlie catches the scarf, puts it around his neck, then starts wildly stomping around the magic shop, but he doesn't make a sound.
There's not even a muffled thud as his feet slam into the ground. Even when he throws a book across the room, when the book lands across the room, there is still no sound made. This scarf is clearly otherworldly in some way, or has some kind of magic charm on it.
Wow, that's some scarf. I need to find out where I can get me one of those.
Do you know Count Vanderhorn?
I know a Count Basie, but I don't think I know a Vanderhorn.
The three pile out of the store and hop into Miss Vaughn's beautiful Cadillac parked on the side of the road.
A Cadillac? Oh, wow, it's beautiful. Oh, it's got that wide grille. Does this have a V8 and a 3-speed selective synchromesh manual engine? Oh.
It sure does, honey. I got it with the proceeds from my first album.
Bella hops in the driver's seat, revs up the engine, and peels out. For much of the ride, there's sort of a determined silence as Hank and Charlie converse in the back seat. Bella stares ahead at the wheel, and then Charlie pipes up from the back seat.
So, Miss Vaughn, can you tell me more about this album? What do you do on it? Jazz standards, or do you write your own music?
When I was down in Memphis, I did standard to try to make my name. That was what got me up here. I caught the eye of some producers, and Marblemouth approached me and said he could set up some meetings.
Did he ever set up any meetings?
No, he kept making plans and then they'd fall through, and I was playing at his clubs in the meantime, and then, well, nothing ever happened. And then my brother got sick, and I went to him for help, you see. He offered to pay my brother's medical bills, and I agreed to work in his clubs until I could pay him back. Now I'm stuck. He won't let me work anywhere else, and all my contracts have fallen through.
Oh, well, that's a real shame about your brother, and pardon my frankness, but Miss Vaughn, you're a good egg. You don't deserve that kind of treatment.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna get you out from Marblemouth's boot heels.
He crushed my dream, and I just want my life back.
I know it seems hopeless, but I don't think your dreams are crushed just yet. Hang in there.
The mood in the car changes to one of camaraderie. You all feel a little bit bonded together, and by the time you reach Marblemouth's mansion deep in New Jersey, you all feel ready to go.
We'll have to work quick when we get inside. I can lead you to where the safe is.
Sounds good. We gotta play this one real quiet and real low-key. I know everyone's out on that family meeting, but we still don't know what could be inside. He's a very connected man.
You all walk up the long driveway. Crickets chirp in the night, the air is cold, the moon shines brightly overhead, stars speckle the sky. And as you start to approach the front gate, you can see a man leaning up against the rock wall, holding a Tommy gun in his lap. As you approach, he stands up tall.
Hey, what are you doing here? You guys best not get too much closer.
This little Italian man holds up the Tommy gun, sort of stumbles under its weight, and finally levels it at you by bracing it against his hip.
Hey, whoa! Hey, easy, mister. We're just the performers hired by Mrs. Moretti to surprise Lazy Al.
Hank, roll a deception check.
25.
Oh, okay, get over here. Let me see your paperwork.
He lets you approach.
Hey, easy, friend. We don't have any paperwork. It was supposed to be a big surprise.
The boss says I can't let you in without no paperwork.
Bella approaches and strokes his hair.
Oh, what are you doing?
Hey, Tommy, put the gun down. We go way back, and you know how Mrs. Moretti is about her surprises.
Oh, she got my name wrong. Damn it. No, I can't let you in. No. I got. The boss will kill me if I let anybody in without no paperwork.
And the boss will kill you if you ruin his surprise.
God, jeez, you put me in quite a predicament.
Roll a persuasion check for me.
8.
The man who is not named Tommy shakes his head.
No, he said no paperwork and that's final. Now back up, Miss Vaughn.
Hey, how about if I show you what I'm good at to prove to you that we're on the level, huh?
What you good at?
I'm a magician by trade. We were gonna do this real neat joint act where Miss Vaughn sang and I performed. It was gonna be fantastic.
And what about this guy over here who looks a little bit like Orson Welles?
Well, I'm an Orson Welles impersonator. I don't look exactly like him, but I'm close enough.
Do an Orson Welles impression for me.
Okay, you ready?
Okay,
It's gonna knock your socks off.
I'm waiting for it.
Rosebud.
Roll a performance check.
3.
All you did was whisper. Everybody could whisper. That's not an Orson Welles impression.
Hey, he's my cousin. He's more of a roadie. He helps us load in and load out. But would you like to see a magic trick? I promise you'll be fooled.
Okay, slick guy, but no funny business. I'm watching you.
And he points his gun at you again.
For my first trick, I'm gonna need a volunteer. Would you be willing to be my volunteer?
Yeah, I would be willing to be a volunteer.
Great. Puts his palm over not Tommy's face, puts his other palm over his own face, and yells, Lapsum meum pallium. And in a blink, swaps appearances with not Tommy from his face down to his clothing.
What did you? What? You look just like me. What am I wearing?
Charlie?
Hey, I also have a magic trick. Charlie punches him right in the face.
Roll your attack.
13.
Charlie slams not Tommy's head into the bars
Oh, why'd you do that for?
and then slams his head back again, and not Tommy crumbles to the ground, looking exactly like an unconscious Hank Blackstone.
Rosebud.
Roll a performance check.
5.
It is no better.
Oh, that's okay, buddy. You're working on it.
What am I doing wrong here? I feel like I look enough like him.
Hank grabs his doppelganger's legs and drags him into a bush. I don't know. I think it's maybe just you need to get the gravitas that Mr. Wells has, you know?
Okay, I'll work on it.
Just watch a couple more of his pictures. You'll get it.
I've seen all of his pictures. I've been working on this myself for quite a while. I can't believe I can't even get Rosebud right.
Guys, we don't have a lot of time here. Can we move this along?
Sorry. Let's do this.
Bella Vaughn doesn't appear to be as surprised as most people would be seeing this kind of thing. She's clearly heard a lot about you from, like, Moretti, and has obviously done her research before coming to you.
Hank grabs not Tommy's Tommy gun and heads down the driveway.
You guys jimmy the lock to the gate open, approach the front door, and as you hop up the steps, security seems very low, but you do hear several laughing voices from inside.
Let's go around the back door.
After you, Miss Vaughn.
Bella takes point, leading you guys around this wraparound deck. Eventually, you guys pass a living room window, and you see 3 very large, fat men, all holding shotguns at various points around their ankles or up over their shoulders. They seem to be drinking a beautiful glass of scotch and playing some casual cards. It seems like Go Fish because they keep pointing at each other, shaking their heads, and then flipping each other off.
Why don't you two go around the back, and I'll distract them from the front.
Be careful. They may look like a bunch of drunken louses, but you don't want to get on the wrong side of them.
Noted. Hank opens the door.
All of the men, jolted, sort of look up, see their friend who should be at the front gate, and sort of laugh to themselves.
Steve, what are you doing here?
Oh man, Steve, you really scared us there for a sec, buddy.
Yeah, it's me, Steve. How's it going, guys? It's getting cold out there.
Come on in, Steve. We're having a drink. The boss said we could have a glass of his nicest scotch while we wait for him.
Oh boy, what scotch you got there? I love scotch.
It's so good, you can't even read the label.
It's aged at least 50 years. Why don't you come in and have a glass, and then we'll send you back out to the front gates.
Hank comes in and takes a chair.
All right. Do you have any 4s?
No, Go Fish.
Are you lying to me, Steve?
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
Ha 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 ha.
He draws a couple of cards. Steve, you look down at your hand. You did have 4s.
Okay, do you have any kings?
We cut away to the back where Charlie and Bella are trying to jimmy the lock of the back door open.
Sounds like he's doing great right now.
You guys are really living up to your reputation.
Wait, Hank and I have a reputation? What do people say about us?
Well, you guys are dangerous men. Marblemouth wouldn't want you gone if you weren't a threat.
yeah, that's me. Real dangerous.
Charlie, roll a sleight of hand check to get this door open.
12.
The door creaks open.
We're in.
You guys are like in this back kitchen area where it seems like large meals could be prepared. There's a beautiful wooden counter, nice tile floors, and spices lining all the walls.
The safe is through here and up the stairs.
Killer Diller. After you.
Back at the Go Fish table,
Oh boy, that scotch went right through me. I gotta piss.
Oh, Steve, we gotta wait for you.
I know, you could do a couple hands without me. Where's the can around here?
Steve, you drunk already? It's upstairs to the left.
Oh, sorry, it just went right through me. I haven't been drinking too much.
I better not find any 4s in your hand.
Ha 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 ha. Hank's gonna roll a sleight of hand check to palm the 4 out of his hand.
roll a sleight of hand.
16.
Yeah, you grab them.
Hey, play on without me, fellas. I take famously long pisses. And Hank heads out the room.
They begin to deal out their cards for their next game. As you come around the corner, you meet up with Charlie and Bella.
Hank, that sounded great. You gotta give me some acting tips. I can't nail this Orson. It's driving me crazy.
Hey, don't worry about it. Let's just get to that safe, huh?
Follow me, it's up this way.
Hey everybody, George here again to say a huge thank you to all of you guys who have been downloading the episodes like crazy. We really appreciate that. And also to Mage Hand Press for giving us tons of inspiration for this season. So they've been drawing up some PDFs that correspond to our character races and classes, some of the monsters we've been using. We've been pulling tons of stuff from their Lovecraft handbook, which can be found very easily on their website at magehandpress.com. One more time, that's magehandpress.com. We're going to be working with these guys on lots of new content and continuing to delve into some of their incredible homebrews. So stay tuned for announcements about future seasons that will be coming really soon. Cheers, y'all, and thanks again for listening. You guys climb the stairs quietly. You get to the top floor. Everything's very creaky up here, which sort of sets you on edge. The hallway is very well decorated. It's beautifully lit with candelabras, portraits of past heads of the Moretti family, both men and women on either side. As you move down the hallway, the doors become more and more ornate, until finally you reach the last door at the end of the hallway, a beautiful, dark, rich mahogany door with gold piping.
Look alive, boys. It's through here.
Hank tries the door.
It is locked.
Hank takes out his thieves' tools and begins to pick the lock.
Okay, roll check for me.
14.
Something breaks off in the lock, but the door remains locked.
Charlie tightens the scarf around his neck and puts a boot through the door.
Roll an athletics check for me.
Nat 20.
The door explodes off the hinges, and where there should be a massive crash and a rattling and splintering of wood, there is absolutely zero sound, not even muffled thuds or anything. There's another roar of laughter from downstairs as the game progresses, but otherwise, you are completely unnoticed.
Thank you, Scarf.
Wow, that was a hell of a kick.
Well, my reputation does precede me.
You guys peer into Moretti's office. It looks exactly like an Italian mobster's office should look like. Everything is incredibly beautiful and antique. These are obviously heirlooms from Italy that have been shipped in, that have been in this family for generations. Nothing looks like it was made before 1850 furniture-wise. The wallpaper is a beautiful dark red, and all of the ornamentation in the room is gold. There's a giant leather chair and a gorgeous pine desk.
The safe is on the other side of the desk.
Hank goes behind the desk and rolls an investigation check. 33.
You almost too easily find this latch in the side of a bookcase, pull the latch, and the door kind of steam presses open. And inside you see a very stereotypical looking safe with a gray surface and an equally typical opening mechanism.
Hank starts cracking it.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to roll 3 perception checks. First one,
21.
you hear a click as you press your ear to the surface.
22.
As you're turning it the other way, you hear the second click, and then as you reverse the wheel again,
21.
the final click, and the safe swings open. Inside, you find several stacks of papers, one of which is sitting at the top, and you see very clearly the octopus-faced emblem that you've seen on those little coins at the museum.
That son of a bitch lied to us. He knew about the squids the whole time.
Oh, that chucklehead. He took us for a couple of rubes.
Hank starts going through the stack of papers and handing them out to Charlie and Miss Vaughn as he goes.
Do you have any idea what these are, Miss Vaughn?
Not on site. Let's just grab them all and go.
It's a lot of numbers and accounting that you guys can't really glean anything from right away, but that top stamped letter does stick out to you, and it seems pretty easy to read really quick.
Charlie takes a look. Okay. You have done very well, Mr. Moretti. Please await further instruction. We will help you eliminate the private eye in due time. We only ask for patience. The doctor is very pleased with you. Your spot will be reserved as promised, though he does request you find someone else to provide transportation for our foot soldiers. The rodent man makes us all rather uncomfortable. The day is near. Ernst Rudin.
Spot reserved. For what?
Look, I'd rather find out what that means later. Let's get out of here first.
But wait, the safe. There's no money in here. Where's the cash?
Well, who cares? We're gonna turn him in, right?
But I need the money for my brother's medical bills.
Maybe we can get some sort of reward from Dick McCoy? Would that be enough?
There should be a second safe in the basement.
We're pushing our luck here as it is, Miss Vaughn. Do you think maybe we could try to get your money some other way?
I know. I'm sorry to ask, but I'm desperate. Do you think we could just take a few minutes to look? My brother's going in for surgery soon, and I need that money, or my brother might die.
All right, but this has been a record-breaking piss. I should probably duck back in there, or else they're gonna think something's up.
You go back in there. Miss Vaughn and I will try to head to the basement.
Wait, if we go through the basement, there's a cellar door we can go right out. We can make a clean break.
Okay, now we're cooking with gas. What do you say, Hank?
Hank's gonna roll an insight check on Miss Vaughn to make sure everything's on the level. Nat 20.
She looks really panicky, and her eyes are darting back and forth, and she seems to have gone to her back for something, but she's just holding her hand behind her back.
What you got there, Miss Vaughn?
What do you mean?
Behind your back.
Bella Vaughn pulls out a pistol.
Miss Vaughn! What is this?
I can't let you boys leave here. They should be here any minute.
You hear the roaring of cars, and you hear one single horn blare. And eventually, the cars get really close to the house, and the engines switch off.
With a snap of Hank's fingers, he turns back into his normal form and then attempts to spring an entire deck of cards at high speeds into Miss Vaughn's face as a distraction.
Roll a sleight of hand check.
26.
The cards spray out of Hank's hands. The wave of cards obscures Bella's vision as she reels backwards.
Hank quickly opens the closet and shoves her in.
Roll a strength check. Bella, roll a strength opposed check.
20.
8.
As Hank tries to push Bella, Bella grabs his hand, flips him upside down, and Hank lands on his back prone.
Oh my god.
Charlie attempts to grapple Bella.
Roll a strength opposed check, Bella.
20.
14.
You grab her.
Charlie pushes her into the closet and manages to lock the door.
You hear banging from inside the door.
Oh, does she still have a gun?
You hear 3 shots ring out as Bella shoots through the door.
Yep.
Let me out of here!
Hank grabs Charlie and starts sprinting down the hallway.
As soon as you guys exit the office, you hear a long, screeching tone of a bow moving across a violin string. It stops you in your tracks, tingles up your spine, and then from downstairs in the foyer, you hear Alphonse Moretti in a sing-song voice call up the stairs.
Hank Blackstone.
His voice sounds amplified somehow.
You know, the first time we talked to each other, you said a lot of things right, but you called me Marblemouth to my face. So here is your end.
You hear lots of footsteps disperse through the house. Several come upstairs that you can hear right away. As you guys look around for what room to duck into, the lights go out. The violin continues ominously.
Hank, this way. Charlie shoulders through one of the doors on their left.
Roll an athletics check for me.
Botch.
Charlie slams up against the door and comes up completely short. The door just kind of rattles in place silently.
Ow! Whoa! Is that door made of steel? What are they keeping here?
Upstairs. I heard him upstairs.
Come on, Chuck. You're made of fucking rock. Hank attempts to jimmy the door open with his buck knife.
Roll sleight of hand check.
Botch.
The buck knife breaks off the hilt and stays lodged in the lock.
God damn it. We're in a pickle, Chuck.
The footsteps get closer and closer. Finally, you see 2 bodies breach the top of the stairs.
Over there.
And they level their pistols at you.
Hank lets off a burst of Tommy gun fire in their direction.
Okay, they're gonna roll dexterity saves. Neither of the 2 people at the top of the stairs make their dex saves and take a full blast of Tommy gun fire. Both of them slam into the wall behind them. Roll damage.
18.
You hear from behind them.
Oh my God, they killed him. They got a Tommy gun.
Try another door, buddy.
Oh man, I hope this one's made out of like a light wood or like a balsam wood.
Go!
Okay, I'm doing it.
Hit him with everything you've got, boys!
Charlie charges through another door. 27.
The door silently shatters open. This clearly looks like a billiards room.
Hank slams the door shut behind them, rummages through his coat pockets, and pulls out a medallion and hangs it on the back of the door. This is his pendant of locking. Nothing can breach this door no matter how big or strong, as long as the medallion hangs. We gotta find a way out of here.
You hear 2 bodies slam up against the door over and over again, trying to get this door open, and some shouting down to the bottom floor to get everybody else up there as well.
We're safe for now, Chuck, but we gotta figure out an exit strategy.
Do you think what she was saying about the exit in the basement is true?
I mean, I'm inclined not to believe her at this point.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I just thought it was an option.
And also, we're in this room. Not the I mean, I don't mean to rag
feel
on you, Charlie.
stupid, okay?
The pounding suddenly stops on the door. The violin gets a little bit louder, and you hear just on the other side of the door an amplified, perturbed voice.
You two are ruining my music.
Fuck your music, Marblemouth.
You know what? You locked in there. It's almost like you're in my personal little cage. Do you think you're getting out of this? Because as long as we got people out here, you're in my prison now, Blackstone.
Hank silently turns and investigates the room looking for an alternate exit. 25.
Around you in this room, you see the obvious. You see the pool table, the balls scattered around the table, and the cues leaning up against the table. You also see a bar, lots of alcohol on this bar, a big bucket of ice cubes, and most noticeably, a giant stained glass window in the shape of a pentagon. Now, this is a very high second floor, probably 40 or 50 feet off the ground, so this would be an insane jump, but potentially survivable, given the right circumstances.
Hank signs to Charlie to prepare to jump out the window and starts quietly dumping out bottles of booze on the ground.
Come on, you two. Let's talk. Come on, let me hear that sweet tone, Charlie. What do you guys want?
Hank signs to Charlie to stall him and continues dumping out bottles of booze on the ground.
Hey, Marblemouth, you like Orson Welles?
Orson is a close personal friend of mine.
Oh, great. Well, then you'll love this impression. All right,
Roll a performance check.
5. Rosebud.
Funny, that's what he says right before he dies.
So, did you like it, or?
Boys, open fire.
Hank, time to go.
Bullets rip through the entire room. Both of you need to make dexterity saves for me.
15.
10.
neither of you succeed. As the bullets tear through the room, glass shatters, wood splinters, everything scratches and grazes you as it goes past, and you do feel several bullets enter your limbs, but most do exit, and you guys aren't completely debilitated by the hail of bullets. You take 36 damage apiece.
Hank manages to dive behind one of the pool tables and takes half of that damage.
Hank, unlike your surface wounds, Charlie has taken several bullets to the torso and abdomen, and bits of rock are scattered around the floor.
Oh, that was a lot of bullets.
You still good for the plan?
Good as I'll ever be. Let's go.
Hank lights a Zippo lighter and throws it on the ground.
It catches, and the room is ablaze.
Charlie throws Hank over his shoulder and leaps out the window.
The remaining glass shatters easily as Charlie launches out into the night, and right before you guys hit the ground, you both look up and you see several car headlights directly in front of you and several men standing outside of their cars. You both slam into the ground silently. The glass that should shatter against the pavement makes no noise whatsoever.
Hank hands Charlie the Tommy gun and says, "Old Hank Blackstone's still got a few tricks up his sleeve. Stall for time, Chuck. Trust me, it's all gonna be okay. Aperiesque ostium." And in the blink of an eye, Hank disappears from sight, only to reappear in the darkness behind the cars.
Hank, you reappear in darkness further back on the lawn, and you see Charlie standing there alone against the wall. Very close to you is a very dark black Mercedes. It looks very new and extraordinarily clean. Standing in front of that is a cloaked figure, dressed all in black and wearing a small cap, holding a clipboard. Charlie, what are you doing?
Charlie rages and rattles off a few rounds at the cars, trying to make an escape.
The gun is silent, but the bullets ricochet off the car doors. Everybody behind the cars manages to take 0 damage, but all remain firmly focused on Charlie. Charlie, you are not able to move anywhere because immediately bullets start firing at you. Try to make a dexterity save right now for me at disadvantage.
15.
What would normally do 104 damage to a normal person does half of the damage because you managed to dodge out of the way of the majority of the bullets, and then in fact does a quarter of the damage due to your rock skin. So actually, you only end up taking 26 damage.
I think perhaps you should stop moving, Mr. Golem.
You hear the violin of Alphonse Moretti get a little quieter as he continues to play the violin moving through the house, and then eventually it gets a little bit louder as he comes out the front door and circles around to the back patio.
Blackstone, I think it's time you give up. You're a smart man. You know what's about to happen.
At that moment, Bella walks out, throws her arm over Lazy Al's shoulder, and the two share a very passionate kiss.
Charlie throws his gun down. Don't listen to him, Hank!
Alphonse, who has continued to pluck on his violin, looks up very suddenly as the German man from the back holds up his hand.
Alphonse, please. It's getting on my nerves.
Alphonse reverently bows, puts the bow aside, and says,
Of course, Doctor. My boys just like a little inspiration now and then. But, as always, whatever you wish.
Finally, the German man walks out into the light. He's very tall, very skinny, pale white skin that you can clearly see veins creeping through his face, liver spots, a very thin crop of white hair, and wild electric blue eyes, which you can see clearly after he pulls down a pair of steampunk-looking glasses.
Remarkable. I think I made something like you once. Of course, it only lived for 90 seconds, and I'm sure every second was agony. You have been a nuisance for a very long time. That all ends tonight.
He snaps, waves some people over, and they bring forward a puzzle box that looks exactly like the one that you left at Dante's Inferno.
Hank creeps up behind the German doctor, rubs his ring of minor illusion, and makes the image and sound of a large explosion happen behind Alphonse and Bella. And in the moment of distraction, uses a piece of rope usually used for a 2-piece to 1-piece magic trick, and pulls the rope tight around the German's neck from behind. 23 on the stealth check.
He does not notice you as you creep up behind him. Everybody else sees the little explosion happen behind Alphonse and has their attention firmly fixed over there, their guns raised. You have the German by the neck.
Call off your dogs, Fritz, or I'll slit your throat right here.
He coughs loudly. Everybody turns around, sees the situation. Their guns raise, and they all begin to yell in German at you.
Charlie immediately ducks around a corner and hides.
The silent footsteps draw no attention, and Charlie is gone.
You dare to touch me, you swine!
Hank leans in real close. If you ever hurt my friend again, I will stick my hat so far up your ass you'll choke on rabbits. A periesque ostium. And Hank disappears into the night.
Where did he go? Finds him! Finds him!
Finally, in a back street somewhere, Hank and Charlie meet back up.
Who was that guy?
I don't know, but he's got to be pretty powerful to make Marblemouth bow to him like that. Do you have those papers?
Yeah, I got him right here.
Several of the papers are a little singed from the fire, but mostly they're in good shape.
Let's get these back to the shop. Hank looks around for a car.
There is another mansion, like across the street, and there are several cars just out in the driveway.
Hank goes and checks the doors of those cars.
2 of them are locked, but the third one is a convertible, and the keys are clearly sitting in like a cup holder in the middle console.
Hop in, pal. We deserve to ride in style after the night we've had. They hop in. Hank turns the engine over.
And Alphonse Moretti's mansion goes up in flames right before your eyes with the massive explosion.
Hit it.
They tear out of the driveway and head back towards New York.
As you guys are on your way back to the city, you start to see increasingly more and more police and sirens and firefighters, and they're not going back towards Alphonse Moretti's mansion. They're whipping past you, also going to New York City. Eventually, you reach the George Washington Bridge, and the entrance is barricaded closed by police officers. And behind you, you see the New York skyscape in the night, illuminated by the moon and the lights, completely on fire. There are fires everywhere in the city. Smoke is rising up, and you can see it catching the moonlight. The police officers are shaking their head. They have no idea what's going on. And eventually, you make your way to the front.
Hey, officer, what the hell happened?
The officer, is shaking his head. He has no idea what's going on.
We have to get past. We have to get back into the city.
He says, I wouldn't go. It's not safe right now. We don't know what happened. It's just all of a sudden lots of explosions everywhere, all over the place.
We'll take our chances.
He kind of shakes his head and just lets you go past. You guys are on foot from here on out. As you wander through the city, you see there are a lot of people putting out fires. Some people are helping each other into cars and trucks. And finally, you get back to where Dante's Inferno should be, and it is gone. A pile of ash is where Dante's Inferno used to be.
Oh my god, the deck. Charlie, help me sift through the rubble. We gotta get to that safe.
Okay.
Sirens whip by in the distance as a car blasts by you, paying no attention to you guys. As you move towards the back, you see there's a large pile of debris.
Charlie scoops up all the debris and throws it away.
Roll an athletics check for me.
22.
Yeah, you move it easily, and you see the burned, charred remains of the desk where the deck was kept. And inside that, the smaller box that it was kept in, the one that you found it in, which is completely unscathed.
Hank checks before he touches it to make sure it's not hot, and picks up the box.
It's abnormally cool.
Is it okay? Is it safe?
Howdy do, fellas.
Tickles, no!
You see Tickles under 7 boards. He must be in half. It is unfathomable that he is even speaking to you with how much debris is on top of him.
Charlie attempts to get the boards off of him.
Roll an athletics check.
27.
Charlie, with ease, lifts the debris off of him, and it's bad. It looks awful. But Tickles coughs.
Oh, well, that's a relief. Oh, fellas, get close. I'm having a hard time getting some volume out here right now.
Anything, Tickles. What happened?
I'll be very honest with you. I broke into your house because I knew you owed me a pack of cigarettes from the last time. You remember? Anyway, your puzzle box thing started beeping and ticking, and then the gears started going, and blammo! Suddenly I was under all of these wood. I'm sorry, fellas. I shouldn't have broke in. Lesson learned.
That's okay. Tickles, here. Have one of mine. And Hank pulls out a cigarette and puts it in his mouth.
My last cigarette with friends.
Don't say that, Tickles. This is one of many.
He takes a puff.
Cheers, fellas.
And he dies.
You're one of my only friends.
Suddenly you hear a, Mr. Blackstone?
Yeah, what do you want?
Sorry to bug you, sir, but I got a telegram for Mr. Blackstone.
Yeah, sure. What is it, kid?
He looks down at the letter. Do you want me to read it to you, or do you wanna? He said it was urgent.
Who? Who said? Yes, read it.
From Dick McCoy, your man on the inside. Did you hang up on me? Stop. I had more things to say. Stop. There is a known associate of Alphonse Moretti that goes by the name of Bella Vaughn, also known as Silvertongue. Stop. It is important that you know this so that you do not accidentally stumble into a trap. Stop. This is vital information. Stop. Why did you disrespect me so over the phone? Stop. Maybe you'll pay for... He turns the page. Stop. Dick McCoy, your man on the inside. He folds the papers up.
Kid, can't you see my homeless friend is dead on the ground and you're coming to me with this shit right now? Are you kidding me?
You owe me $250.
Get the hell out of here, kid!
He stumbles backwards.
Hank picks up a small piece of debris and throws it after the kid.
And he runs away.
They're gonna pay for that, Chuck. They're gonna pay for tickles.
Watch your step when the path is slick. The shadows here can play a dirty trick. And moonlight's such a fickle guide. So watch your step when you step outside.
This has been a Hero Club production. Produced by Nick Williams and George Primavera, with associate producers Marty Abbey Schneider and Dylan McCollum. Voice acting by George Primavera, Nick Williams, Jack Quaid, Umi Shakti, and Dylan McCollum. Theme song written and performed by Matthew McCollum. Special thanks to musicians Kevin MacLeod and Ben Doyle on that violin. And to Marty Abbey Schneider for his incredible artwork. Thanks for listening, and welcome to the club.
The roads are narrow, the river's wide. Your only friends have surely died. So watch your step, it's critical. You don't watch your step, oh watch your step when you step outside.
They're gonna pay for that, Chuck. They're gonna pay for tickles.
If you can say it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. That's the...